Welcome to a cold and windy Bhutan. Hello and welcome to Ride with T. Today I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Last week I made a video with my experience of the Royal Enfield Himalayan 411 in Bhutan, and that video has had 20,000 views in less than 1 week. With a channel like mine with only 15,000 subscribers, that's more than my subscriber count. So thank you so much. My inbox has been inundated, hence the video today. While the new liquid-cooled Himalayan 450 is an engineering marvel, it's left a massive gaping hole in the market. Too tall, too complex, and too heavy revving for the traditional Thumper purist. And it turns out Royal Enfield noticed too. The comments on my last video proved exactly why the factory is secretly rushing to appease the loyal low-end Thump crowd with a brand new bike, the Himalayan 440. But today we need to talk about the entire 4-bike lineup, the 411, the 440, the 450 and the massive 750 twin revealed at EICMA. Where do you actually fit? So from that last video, the comments section exploded and there were some really interesting comments there. One of them was from a 450 owner saying that if you add 2 teeth on the rear sprocket, then it will definitely beat the 411 or compete with it on the low chug. I'm not sure. Have any of you tried that? And then another comment was on the 411, by adding an extra tooth on the front sprocket, then it gives it a better top road speed, which is one of the main criticisms of the 411. Johnny Brittain, Royal Enfield's iconic factory works rider of the 1950s, on his legendary 350cc Trials Bullet, registered as HNP 331, he dominated the grueling Scottish 6-day trial in 1952 and 1957 and won an astonishing 13 gold medals at the International 6-day trial, the Olympics of motorcycling. And here are the lessons we can learn from this. Those old school trials courses weren't about high horsepower or screaming RPMs. They were about traction, mud, rocks and slick riverbeds. Johnny Brittain won because that long stroke single cylinder motor would just chug at walking pace without stalling, where high power bikes would just spin up and dig a hole. When you ride a 411 through a slippery high altitude pass in Bhutan, you are feeling the exact same mechanical philosophy that won championships 70 years ago. This history is exactly why the upcoming Himalayan 440, codenamed the D4G, exists. Royal Enfield realised they alienated the core purists with the 450. The specs: it uses the newly developed 443cc air oil-cooled single engine just debuted on the new Scram 440. It pushes out 25.4 brake horsepower and 34 Nm of torque down low at 4,000 RPM. Crucially, it leaves behind the 411's biggest flaw by adding a 6-speed gearbox and also now a slipper clutch. The newly anticipated 440 also brings back that accessible 800mm seat height and a true 21-inch front wheel. It is the modern factory building the exact Latitude project style bike custom builders have been trying to make for years. The 450 Sherpa engine is a liquid-cooled dual overhead cam rocket making 40 horsepower, but to get that power you have to rev it to nearly 8,000 RPM. The Himalayan 450 is brilliant if your adventure involves 500 kilometers of high-speed tarmac before you hit the trail, but it's a modern, tall, tech-heavy motorcycle, the exact antithesis of simple, unburstable Thumper heritage. The Himalayan 750, this isn't a rumour anymore. Royal Enfield officially showed the prototype mule on the EICMA floor. It uses a bored out 750cc twin cylinder platform pushing out nearly 55 to 60 horsepower featuring a 19-inch front wheel and dual front disc brakes. The reality, this bike is built to hunt down the Yamaha Tenere 700 on the open highway. But let's be honest, a 750 twin means massive weight. If you think wrestling a 199 kilogram single cylinder 411 through the mud is tough, a 220 kilogram plus twin cylinder adventure bike is going to be a beast off-road. The 750 completely abandons the Thumper crowd. Royal Enfield have created a roadmap. They are splitting their identity. The 750 is the highway mile muncher, the 450 is the high-speed off-road weapon, but the upcoming 440 is the return of the true, simple, accessible tractor. And from the comments of that last video, I would estimate 90 to 95% of the people who commented on that video loved the tractor, loved the 411. So there is definitely potential market for this new 440 if Royal Enfield decide to resurrect the 411 into something even better. So seeing the whole lineup laid out like this, I need your ultimate wish list for the upcoming 440. If Royal Enfield gives us that low 800mm seat height, an air-cooled motor and a 6-speed box, is that the perfect bike? What else would you advise Royal Enfield to add on the new 440? Or are you going to stick with a cheap second-hand 411? Let me know in the comments below, please. So yeah, let's try and help Royal Enfield out with a wish list. I know top of the wish list for most of you will be tubeless tyres on spoked wheels. I've seen a couple of interesting ways around this recently. On the Zontes 368G scooter that I reviewed recently, it had an ingenious way of making the spokes come out the outer edge, therefore tubeless tyres can be fitted. And on my recent visit to the Royal Enfield showroom, a limited edition Royal Enfield Meteor 350 with spoke wheels but still tubeless. Not as pretty as the Zontes, but still a clever way to solve the problem, still the same. What else would you wish for? I personally want to lower the weight. Johnny Brittain's bike was under 160 kilograms back in the day and it had a low seat height. Also something else I would wish for. What about you guys? Let Royal Enfield know. Please leave your comments below. And if you want to see exactly why the low-end Thumper torque is a lifesaver when the roads turn into pure chaos, click the link in the pinned comment below to watch episode 4 of my Bhutan travel series over on my new channel, T's Moto Adventures. So many thanks for joining Ride with T today. Ride safe, and I'll see you over there.